What's shaking, everybody? Coming at you with just a little Improv Tabletop update, a state of the ImpTab, as it were. We got some big stuff in the works, so I'm here to give you this announcement along with my good friends.
Caleb Anderton, recovering from some pretty severe laryngitis.
McKenna Steele, I'm gonna do it. It's my birthday tomorrow when we're recording this, so happy birthday to me.
And Christian, getting ready also to celebrate all of that.
And also, happy anniversary to us, July 27th. That's also important too.
Yeah, we have a lot to celebrate here over at Improv Tabletop, not the least of which is Caleb getting over his laryngitis.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so here's the shtick. Here's the state of the ImpTab. You ever have one of those moments where you're really excited about something and you fly really close to the sun and then your wings kind of melt out and you realize, hey, that was fun, but now we're kind of falling into the ocean and we're drowning a little bit. So that happened over here at ImpTab, kind of. We have absolutely loved being able to produce both shows every week. It's been great to get these creative energies out, and we have enjoyed being able to make these shows for you, but we need to scale back a little bit because we are humans, it turns out, and there's only so much time in the day for a human to create a podcast while also trying to, support 4 children and a wife and that kind of stuff.
I have those.
That you do. So, as such, first things first, we're going to be scaling back to only 1 show per week. At this point, that means that the Fate campaigns will be going on hiatus. We wrapped things up pretty nicely with Transformer Rejects, and we've got a real good momentum going on with the Avatar campaign right now, and we don't want to cut that. And so we're going to be taking a little break from the Fate campaigns while we finish this Avatar campaign, but then eventually we will be switching back over to Fate long term. But we have come up with a way to work towards being able to do both shows weekly again, and that is a Patreon account. Yeah, all those times that we've kind of joked about starting a Patreon account, turns out it's actually happening, which is a weird thing.
We were never joking. We were foreshadowing.
Yes, like good storytellers. And so here's the way that this is kind of going to work is we've got some community stretch goals that we've set up that will enable us to pay Caleb for his editing time because he is a freelance voice actor and he gets paid to voice act and to edit stuff. So in order to support him and his family, we figure it's only reasonable that we be able to pay him for his time to justify it, all of this work that he's putting into the show.
Hear, hear.
Please help support a poor, starving, not only the starving artist, but the starving children of the artist. Think of the kids.
Think of the children.
So if you go to our Patreon page on the day that we launch it, you'll be able to see our community stretch goals. And along the way leading up to that, we're going to have some other stretch goals that will get you guys access to stuff like cameo-style personalized recordings from characters from the show, some digital wallpaper sets I'll be making with art from the show, get access to eventually the music that I've written for the show, all of that leading up to eventually being able to pay Caleb for his work. When we can start to pay Caleb for 1 episode per month, we'll be releasing a bonus one-shot every month to the public. And then moving up from there, we can replace that with the regular campaigns twice a month, then 3 times a month, and then when we eventually hit that final goal, 4 times a month. So this is the structure that we've come up with to essentially get ourselves the resources that we need to make these stories for you. We learned from our mistakes, from jumping a bit too far into the deep end of the pool, and we've come up with a way to make sure that it is sustainable for us to make both shows with you moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And to be fair, we absolutely love making both shows, and I want this to happen as fast as possible. Mm-hmm. Man, we need all the help we can get from you guys. Please share this show with anybody and everybody that you think would be interested, would also enjoy what we are doing, because we want to put this out to the world, and we need some help.
Mm-hmm. But for your money, you are not just going to be supporting us, you are going to get some stuff in return as well. You might be asking, well, sure, you've got this Patreon account, but what do I get if I join at the $2 a month tier, McKenna?
At the $2 a month, here's what you kind of would be looking at. We will be having Fate character sketches. So these are going to be a series of short improvised scenes featuring each PC from our Fate campaigns. So, for example, let's say, I don't know, how about Lila Bell's feeling like she wants to come on over and she wants to bake herself a little pie. She could get herself into a little bit of trouble in the middle of her pie shop, and oh, for goodness sake, look at that, the flour has gone right all over the place.
Yeah, we've recorded a couple of them already, not too many, but you get stuff, for example, like, what does it look like when Dave Skullcrusher gets back into the fighting scene with only one hand?
Yes.
That's beautiful. So you'll get really fun content like that. Also at the $2 level, you're going to get your name listed on our website, and my personal favorite, the obligatory talkback. I personally love that name. I wasn't there for this meeting. Is that coming from in college when we would all have to do the talkbacks after a show and we all kind of called it the obligatory talkback? Is that where that's coming from?
I hadn't actually thought of that, but it fits. My thought behind this is, if you've been in the actual play scene for a while, you've probably experienced these talkback shows, kind of the premier example being Talks Machina for Critical Role, and they all have to have a cool, jazzy, hip name, like for Not Another D&D Podcast, they call it The Short Rest. For iCast Fireball, we called it Word of Recall. And with this one, it was just kind of like, we have to have a talkback, so it's the obligatory talkback.
I love it. I think
it's
perfect. But what it's going to be is it's just a quick retrospective of the show for our ongoing campaign. So with the Avatar campaign that we're doing, we're sharing our out of character thoughts about the campaign, how it's going so far, what we're thinking about our characters, what we're thinking about the crazy situations they're getting themselves in, questions you guys might have, things like that. So that's basically what you're getting at the $2 level, which for $2, that's exciting, and very seriously, genuinely mean that.
Yeah, we wanted to make the entry-level tier the best bang for your buck as far as additional content goes. So any new episodes that we record, we don't want them to be too far behind the paywall. We're not going to record a secret patron-only campaign and put it at the $10 per month tier. No, if we're making new content, then you're going to get it at the $2 tier, so it's as accessible to as many people as possible.
Yeah, there are Patreons that I'm obsessed with the podcast that I'm always like, ooh, that $5 or that $10 sometimes stresses me out because it's a whole other subscription to Netflix or something. Not Netflix. Netflix has gotten crazy. It's like Discovery Plus at this point. But I know my mom can pitch in $2 a month, even if I know she's not going to listen. She's not going to miss $2. But it's accessible and it's got fun content, and we want to be able to provide it for anyone that has any interest for the cheapest we can,
Yeah, and now you may be asking, if it's such a good deal to subscribe at the $2 per month tier, well then why, Caleb, would I want to subscribe for $5 a month?
For $5 a month, stuff gets even cooler. Not extra story content per se, but you will get access to our community Discord. You can chat with the cast and with other fans, and that'll just be an all-the-time thing. If you have a question or if you have a suggestion, boom, shoot it to us right there. Pretty sweet. Also, in that $5 tier, our monthly hangout stream. We will be doing kind of a laid-back stream where you guys can come and chill with the cast online. We'll play Jackbox games or something like that. And once again, if you guys have any questions or suggestions or anything like that, you can pose those to us live during that hangout stream. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, like we mentioned in every episode, you can always feel free to reach out to us through social media or through email, but this will be the most direct way to get in touch with the cast. So join at $5 a month and you're getting pretty direct access to all of us here at Improv Tabletop. And if that's not enough for you, if you're feeling especially generous and you just really want to see this podcast shine and those new episodes coming out quicker, Christian, what do I get if I join at $10 a month?
Well, this is what I'm probably the most excited for and looking forward to the most. The biannual sticker pack.
Yes.
I already love the little art we have, but every 6 months months, you'll get a sticker pack featuring cover art, character illustrations that Ned has done for all of these campaigns so far. And there's just so much good, fun, sticker-worthy art already ready to go.
Have you seen the Lego figure art he made for the tension builders way back?
I love it.
That stuff is amazing.
It's so perfect and cute.
There is also, at the $10 tier, you get your name entered into a rotation for public mentions during the plug sections. Obviously, how frequent those things happen depend on how many subscribers we have at that tier. And this one is also super exciting at the $10 tier. Audience ideation. Normally at the beginning of our Fate episodes, we have those ideations where we tell stories from our lives that have to do with whatever the prompt is. Going forward, we'll be putting out a lot more readily available on our social media what's coming up, and you can send in your own ideation about these ideas, and we will be able to pull from those for the ideation and get you involved in the actual creation of the campaign.
I'm crazy about that. That's like audience participation in improv in like the highest way I can think of while still being an audience member.
Yeah, that's been one thing that's been tricky going from improv on a stage to improv in a podcast. It really limits the amount of person-to-person feedback we can get from the audience, which is something that a live show really thrives on. But then McKenna came in with this awesome idea for ways that we can get more of you involved in a more deep way. So yeah, if you join that $10 a month tier, you could become a very indelible part of our story creation process. And so that is all of the different tiers and all the different rewards that you can get if you join as an Improv Tabletop subscriber. Woo! And that Patreon will be launching on the 1st of August. New month, new Patreon, new leg of the journey for all of us here at Improv Tabletop.
New Patreon, who dis?
So we will be back next week with more Avatar episodes. We know that we left off on a bit of a cliffhanger with Jetsoon just barely about to start that Pie Show game. We got some really good episodes coming up.
That's where we left off?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We've got some good stuff coming.
Well, it's better that we left off on that episode than on the next episode, because there's an even bigger cliffhanger coming up in next week's episode.
That is very true.
So we'll be back next week with more Avatar. Also in the first part of August here, we want to give you guys a little bit of a taste of the bonus episodes if you want to get a sense of what they're like before subscribing. So the first 2 episodes of the obligatory talkback we're going to release publicly on our main feed, and also the first 2 campaigns worth of Fate character sketches we're going to be releasing to you guys as well. We have a bit of a backlog to get through. We've been doing those Fate campaigns for well over a year at this point, so we're not going to have all of them up there ready for you to listen to immediately, but fortunately, while we've got a little bit of a break from the Fate campaigns, we'll be able to get those out progressively while we're working through the Avatar campaign, and eventually you'll get all the way from tricks to free spin. But yeah, I'm very excited to be taking this step finally. Like back when we first started this show, I had this dream in my mind of like, yeah, it'd be really cool if, in 3 years, maybe 2 years, if we're being really optimistic, maybe we'll start a Patreon account. And here we are just over 1 year after we've started, and it's happening because you guys have given us such a great response.
For real. Thank you guys so much.
And as much as I do kind of have this pie in the sky dream of eventually making this my full-time job someday, like some of my other favorite podcasters, I always felt a little bit weird about the idea of monetizing. But at this point, we have a definite direction where it's like, because we are monetizing the show finally, we will be able to produce more content for you in a more sustainable fashion. And that's what gets me really excited about finally taking this big step.
Yeah, and just the idea that we won't be sacrificing any quality or anything like that. We'll just be able to keep the quality, if anything, improve it as we move forward.
Yeah, with those community stretch goals we've got going on, if we start reaching some of those goals, we'll be able to not only cover our hosting costs, but we can start reimbursing previous hosting costs. We can start paying for new microphones or reimbursing cast members for the stuff they've already got. Every step along the way is just going to improve the quality of this show and also the quantity of this show as we start moving in that direction.
Oh, yeah.
So everybody, thanks for being patient with us over this past month while we've been taking a little break and kind of restructuring things. But we think that you're going to enjoy the stuff that we've come up with from that little break. And just thanks for being along for the ride. It's been very encouraging to see that even though we haven't released any new episodes this past month, we've still seen a tremendous amount of downloads from new people coming in. It's just very humbling to see that there are this many people who like this crazy thing that we're doing.
I've seen the numbers of downloads go up from the time we started recording to now.
Well, that's pretty cool. Brought to you live.
Indeed. But yeah, that's our update. Big stuff going on here at Improv Tabletop. But for the time being, thanks everybody so much for joining us here. We'll get back to you with more story episodes soon. But for now, I'm Ned Wilcock, your host and GM, and I've been joined by
Caleb Anderton. So grateful for all you listeners.
McKenna Steele, more grateful than Caleb.
Christian Randall, I'm not grateful. I feel I deserve everything, and I am perfect. So this is obviously something that should happen for me.
It's true.
You sound like more of a Leo than I do.
Well, everybody, much love and stuff. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week on Improv Tabletop.
Yeah.